So, you have a coworker who acts like they're your boss, but they have the exact same job title as you. Sound familiar? They're always giving you orders, nitpicking your work in front of everyone, and brown-nosing the manager, usually at your expense. It's an incredibly frustrating situation. You're left feeling disrespected, undermined, and maybe even questioning your own abilities. You go home at night replaying every interaction, feeling that awful mix of anger and anxiety, wondering, am I the only one who sees this? Let's be clear, the stress is real. This isn't just a minor annoyance, it drains your energy, kills your focus, and poisons your job satisfaction. It's the reason you might dread team meetings, dodge certain projects, or even think about quitting. You're there to do great work and build your career, not to fight petty battles. But this person, this pseudo-boss, is standing right in your way. Well, get ready. You're about to learn the exact words to use that will shut down this behavior, professionally put them back in their lane, and let you take back control of your workday. This isn't about starting a war, it's about ending one. This is your playbook for professionally dismantling their misplaced authority so you can get back to doing the job you were hired to do. Before we continue, like and subscribe to this channel to keep getting valuable video like this. Also, comment where you are watching us from. Let's try to understand the pseudo-boss. Before we get to the scripts, we have to understand what's really going on here. When you know how the machine works, you know which levers to pull. The thing is, a bossy coworker's behavior almost never comes from a place of actual authority. It's usually a mask for something else entirely. Their actions aren't a reflection of you, they're a broadcast of their own issues. So, why do some people act like the boss when they're not? It almost always boils down to a few key drivers. First, and most common, is good old-fashioned insecurity. This person might feel totally inadequate in their role, terrified of being seen as incompetent. So, they overcompensate. By acting like a manager, they're trying to project an image of power and importance they don't feel inside. They think if they can control you, they'll look more valuable to the actual boss. Another huge driver is ambition without an ounce of positional power. This person desperately wants to be the boss, and they think the way to get there is by demonstrating leadership. The problem is, they have a twisted idea of what leadership is. They confuse barking orders and criticizing with inspiring a team. They see you not as a colleague, but as a practiced subordinate in the management fantasy they've built in their head. Sometimes, it's just a learned behavior. Maybe their last job rewarded this kind of aggressive attitude. Or maybe it's just their personality. They're a director at home and they forgot to turn that switch off at the office, where they're a peer, not a parent. And let's not forget the simplest reason of all. No one has ever told them to stop. They target people they see as non-confrontational, and every time they get their way, the behavior gets reinforced. They keep pushing because they've never hit a solid wall. Today, we're going to help you build that wall. To shut them down effectively, you need to know who you're dealing with. First, there's the micromanager in training. This person is obsessed with your work. What are you doing? How are you doing it? They offer unsolicited advice on everything from your email font to your project strategy. They aren't always trying to sabotage you. They genuinely believe they know the right way to do everything. It's smothering, and it screams, "I don't trust you to do your job." Next is the public critic. This one is more malicious. Their goal is to look smart by making you look dumb. They'll correct you in meetings, point out a tiny flaw in a group email, or question your logic in front of your actual manager. It's all about public dominance. They operate on the twisted logic that by pushing you down, they lift themselves up. This is a classic sign of professional jealousy. Then we have the credit stealer. This person listens to your brilliant idea over coffee, only to present it as their own in the big meeting. They'll say, "I was thinking we should," and then perfectly describe the concept you shared yesterday. They're betting you won't want to cause a scene by calling them out. Finally, there's the unofficial delegator. This is maybe the most shameless of them all. They actively try to dump their work on you. They'll frame it as a request for help, but it feels like an order. Hey, I'm swamped. Can you handle this for me? The subtext is that their work is more important than yours. Recognizing the pattern is your first strategic advantage. It lets you anticipate their next move and prepare a response instead of being blindsided. The damage they cause isn't just an annoyance, it's a threat to your well-being and your team's health. It creates a toxic environment where trust dies and collaboration withers. It's time to stop it. The foundational mindset shift. Okay, before you learn a single script, we need to do some work in here. If you try to use these lines without changing your internal posture, you'll fail. They'll feel unnatural, your voice will shake, and the pseudo-boss will smell your hesitation a mile away and just push harder. The real work starts in your head. First, you have to shift from reacting to acting. Right now, you're probably in a reactive state. They do something, you feel that flash of anger or frustration, and it throws you off for the rest of the day. A proactive mindset means you're no longer a victim. You're a calm, strategic observer. You decide, ahead of time, how you're going to handle these situations. You see the clouds, so you bring an umbrella. You're not paranoid, you're prepared. Second, and this is the big one, your goal isn't friendship, it's professional respect. So many of us are wired to be people pleasers at work. We want to be liked. We avoid conflict because we don't want things to be awkward. You have to let go of the need for this specific coworker to like you. They might not like you when you start drawing lines in the sand. That is completely okay. Your goal isn't to win their affection, it's to command their professional respect. The relationship can be cordial, but it doesn't need to be warm and fuzzy. Once you accept that, you free yourself from the fear of their disapproval. Third, you have to check your own emotions first. Never, ever confront them when you're angry. When they undermine you in a meeting and you feel that hot surge of adrenaline, that is the signal to pause, not to pounce. A hot-headed outburst is exactly what they want. It makes you look unstable and unprofessional. Instead, take a breath. A calm, composed response delivered in a neutral tone is infinitely more powerful than an emotional tirade. Professionalism is your superpower. Finally, this is your insurance policy. Document everything. This is non-negotiable. Start a private file, a Word doc, a note on your phone, whatever, for your eyes only. Log every single incident. For each entry, write down the date, time, who was there, what was said or done, and the impact it had on your work. For example, October 26, 10:15 a.m., team meeting with Jane. I presented the Q3 marketing report. John interrupted, calling my analysis simplistic and saying a deeper dive is needed. Impact derailed the presentation and created confusion about the report's validity. This isn't a diary for venting. It's a cold, factual log of behavior. This does two things. First, it helps you see the pattern and confirms you aren't just overreacting. Second, if you do need to escalate this to your manager or HR, you won't walk in with vague complaints. You'll walk in with a precise record of events. This transforms your case from, "He's being a jerk," to, "Here is a documented pattern of behavior that is disrupting our workflow." The person with the data always wins. With this new mindset, proactive, focused on respect, emotionally regulated, and backed by data, you are no longer a target. You are a professional managing a workplace problem. Now, let's learn the words. Now here is what to say and when. All right, this is the fun part. Here are the exact phrases to use for the most common scenarios. The beauty of these scripts is that they're polite, professional, and non-negotiable. They don't open a debate, they state a reality. Scenario 1. They give you a direct order. This is when the pseudo-boss tells you what to do as if they're your manager. Hey, drop what you're doing and work on these slides. Or, you need to reformat that report my way. Your tactic is to redirect to the real authority. You aren't being difficult, you're just reinforcing the official chain of command. Your reply should be, "Thanks for the suggestion. My priorities are based on my last chat with the manager, so I'll check with them to see where this fits in." Let's break down why this is a verbal judo move. Thanks for the suggestion. This is disarming. You're framing their order as a mere suggestion, which instantly deflates its power. This is a statement of fact. You're showing that your work is guided by a plan from your actual boss. This is the knockout punch. You're invoking the name of the real authority figure. You aren't saying, "You're not my boss." You are showing it. This puts the burden back on them. If the task is legitimate, they won't mind you confirming it. If it's an overreach, they'll often backtrack immediately with, "Oh no, don't bother them, it's not a big deal." And boom, you've won. If they're persistent, a more direct version is, "I appreciate the input, but I need to stick to the process that the manager and I already agreed on." It's a polite but firm closed door. Scenario 2. They criticize your work, especially in public. This is a power play. They try to undermine you in a meeting, a group chat, or a reply-all email. They'll say something like, "Well, actually, that's not quite right." Your tactic is to acknowledge, defer, and take it offline. Do not get into a debate in their arena. You control the venue. Your reply should be, "Good point, thanks. I'll be sure to review it with the manager in our next one-on-one to get their official feedback." This reply is brutally effective. "Good point, thanks." You start with polite acknowledgement. It shows you're calm and unfazed by the public jab. "I'll be sure to review it." You are not admitting they're right. You're just saying you'll look at it. It's a neutral, professional action. You're redirecting the feedback to the only person whose opinion actually matters. That little word "official" implies their feedback is, by definition, unofficial and irrelevant. You've just shut down the public spectacle, reminded everyone of the real hierarchy, and kept your cool. If they try to corner you after, you can say, "I appreciate you following up, but like I said, I'll be taking it up with the manager since they set the direction for my work." Conversation over. Scenario 3. They try to delegate their work to you. This is the ultimate boundary test. They try to make their stress your emergency. "I am so slammed, can you please take care of the monthly numbers for me?" Your tactic is to clarify your priorities and protect your time. You show empathy but hold the line. Your reply should be, "Wow, sounds like you have a ton on your plate. Unfortunately, I'm at full capacity with the projects our manager has given me, so I can't take that on." Let's dissect this beautiful boundary. You start with empathy. You validate their feeling without validating their request. This softens the "no." "Unfortunately, I'm at full capacity." This isn't a personal choice. It's a logistical reality. You're not saying, "I don't want to." You're saying, "I am not able to." With the projects our manager has given me, once again, you tie your workload directly to your manager. Your plate is full of official work, and you can't let unofficial work get in the way. "So I can't take that on." This is clear and unambiguous. No, maybe later. No, I'll try. It's a polite but firm door closing. For repeat offenders, here's the advanced move. Add this on. If you're overloaded, you should probably talk to our manager about managing the team's workload. They might be able to help. This is brilliant. You're not just saying no, you're pointing them to the correct solution, a solution that reinforces the proper hierarchy and removes you from the equation completely. Scenario 4. They steal your idea in a meeting. You told them a great idea, and now they're pitching it as their own. They say, "I have an idea. What if we—" And it's your exact concept. Your blood starts to boil. Your tactic: reclaim it calmly and collaboratively. You don't accuse them, you just gently attach your name back to the idea. Your reply should be, "I'm so glad you brought that up. That builds on what I was mentioning to you the other day. I agree that it will be key." This is a high-level move. Here's why it's genius. In one calm, factual sentence, you've just informed everyone in the room that this idea originated in a prior conversation with you. "I agree that," you then add another layer of detail. This proves you have a deeper ownership of the concept. You're moving from co-owner to expert. You've just taken back your idea without starting a fight. You made it look like they were simply amplifying your point, not stealing it. This takes practice, but it's the most powerful way to handle idea theft at work. Section 4. The escalation path. When and how to involve your manager. Using these strategies will solve this problem about 80% of the time. Most pseudo-bosses, when met with a consistent, calm wall, will back off. But some won't. They'll push harder or get passive-aggressive. If the behavior continues to hurt your work despite your best efforts, you have to escalate. But going to your manager is tricky. If you do it wrong, you look like a whiner who can't handle their own problems. You have to approach this as a strategic business meeting, not a tattling session. So, when one or more of these are true, then it is time to escalate. Your work is suffering, their actions are causing you to miss deadlines or compromise quality. Team morale is in the tank. It's not just you. They're creating a toxic environment for others. They are actively sabotaging you. This has moved beyond bossiness into misrepresenting your work or outright lying. You've tried everything else. You've used the boundary-setting techniques, and nothing has changed. If you've hit that point, it's your responsibility to involve your manager. A rogue employee creating chaos is a problem your boss needs to solve. Schedule a private meeting. A calendar invite like check-in on team dynamics and workflow is perfect. When you walk in, you have 3 goals. Frame this as a business problem, not a personal fight. Present facts, not feelings. Ask for strategic advice, not for them to be a playground monitor. Here's how the conversation should go. Step 1. The opening. Don't start with, "I have a problem with John." Instead, try this. "Thanks for meeting with me. I wanted to get your advice on a dynamic with John that's starting to impact our workflow, and I want to make sure I'm handling it in the most productive way." This immediately shows you're being proactive, you're focused on the business, and you respect their guidance. Step 2. Present the facts. This is where your little black book of documentation comes in. Don't use emotional language like, "He's always undermining me." Present specific, documented examples. "I've noticed a pattern, and I wrote down a few recent examples. On Tuesday, during the client prep, John reassigned 3 of my slides to himself, saying he wanted to handle the important parts, which meant I had to stay late to redo the integration. On Thursday, he told Sarah from marketing to pause an analysis I requested, giving her a task he called more urgent. This has delayed our report by a day. See the structure? Event plus action plus business impact. You are connecting their behavior directly to negative business outcomes, wasted time, and project delays. Step 3. State your concern. Summarize the problem, focusing on the team and the business. My concern is that this is creating confusion about roles and priorities, and it's making it hard for the team to collaborate efficiently. I'm worried it could jeopardize our Q4 launch if it continues. Step 4. Ask for guidance. This is the most important part. You're not demanding they fix John. You're asking for coaching. I've tried addressing this by redirecting him back to the official plan and clarifying priorities with you. Sometimes it works temporarily, but the pattern continues. From your perspective, what's the best way for me to handle this moving forward to keep our projects on track? How would you like me to respond when this happens? You've just given your manager everything they need: a clear problem, factual evidence, the business impact, and a request for their expert advice. You've positioned yourself as a mature, professional problem solver. Your manager now has the information and the motivation to step in, whether that means coaching you, talking to John, or clarifying roles for the whole team. Remember, you have a right to a respectful workplace. You do not have to put up with being undermined or ordered around by a peer. By using these strategies, you're not just managing a difficult person, you are taking control of your career. If this was helpful, give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel reach more people stuck in this exact situation. And if you know someone who's struggling with this, share it with them. Most importantly, Subscribe and hit the notification bell, because we are all about giving you the real-world advice you need to thrive at work. Finally, I want to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one experience you've had with a pseudo-boss. When you read the replies, you'll see you are not alone. Your story matters, and sharing it helps everyone.